Ooh, the thunder. Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, so I was on live tonight and I was looking at somebody who made a comment, and the name of that person in the comment reminded me of a story time. It's kind of hard to talk about because I'm not sure how much to really like put out there, because it made me kind of nervous because the way he responded was the same way that we would talk when I knew him, and it kind of was like made me kind of freeze for a second because I'm like, oh man, like is that him? Like but I also want to tell you guys about something. So when I was a freshman in college, okay, I had a class in college, and the teacher had given out he gave all of the students his number, okay. They gave him all his number, and so it wasn't really anything weird to me, like it was fine. And then I would take his classes, and then he would be like, hey, like no phones, whatever. Like, so we'd actually put our phones away during class and stuff. And then he would give us his number to like text him if he had any questions about the assignment. And so I started having questions about assignments. So I would ask him questions, he would respond. And then he was like talking more and more to me, but I didn't think anything of it because everybody had his number. So it wasn't weird. And I was like, okay, he just like, talks to everybody, like whatever. I didn't think anything of it at all. And so I just did my class like normal, and we kind of became friends, and we just went back and forth. And then he kind of asked me out, but I didn't really get that he was asking me out. He asked me if I wanted, like, oh, like what food do you like? I said, oh, I kind of want some Taco Bell. And he was like, oh, I could take you. And I literally considered it for a second, like, oh, and then I text my sister, and she goes, no, like we're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, my sister's always been my ride or die. But so I was like, okay, no, I'm good. Like, I was gonna go get lunch at the cafeteria. So that was like a thing, and I didn't quite understand that. I kind of just like went over my head, if that makes sense. And then he would like text me on and off, and somehow over time, and it's kind of embarrassing to look back on it now because I was so naive. I didn't really, like, I saw it, but I didn't see it. And part of me was like, I think kind of liked the attention, but like another part of me was just naive enough to not really realize how kind of serious the situation could be. But he like wrote, there was like a writer, and so he would write stories, and he would ask me for like different details and stuff and about me, and then he would like put it in the story. And at first I was really flattered. I was like, oh, that's really cool, like and then I realized he was divorced, and he had had a black wife before. And so then I started to like, oh, is it like, it's because I'm black, and he think, whatever, he's like attracted to me and whatever. I don't know. And I don't remember like all the details because it's been so long. But like, it just got like, I don't know, like I always took everything as a joke. Like I never really saw it as like, he would always be like, I'm just joking. So I never saw it as like him trying to pursue me, or because he never would say that outright. He was always like, just joking, we're friends, we're friends, we're friends. And then I started to realize at some point that the details he was asking was getting too personal. And then like the texting was back to back, and even my husband now, who I was talking to before, when I think I met him around that time, and we were friends, and he was just like, no, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And I'm like, no, like, that's my friend. And my husband and I had an agreement that anybody that we were friends with before we got together was safe, right? Because we had friends before the relationship. Like, at the time, it just seemed fair. So we never like made each other like not, be like friends or texting the opposite sex. Like, we never did any of that. So because he had like a girl best friend, and I had like a guy or two that I was like friends with, I guess. And so I guess I just didn't really see it for what it was. and he was starting to add those things into a book, and it was just getting more and more personal. And then I just was kind of like, it was so weird because I was kind of in it, but I didn't really see it for what it was. And looking back at it now, I'm like, I cringe so bad because I just didn't get it. And I think I felt so flattered by the attention. And I always saw like older people as like almost like mentors or as people that wanted to help me. And I never like really got into the point where I saw them as like predators. And so I've kind of always found myself in those situations. I don't know what it was like, but then at points he would like let me just be on my phone. He'd be texting me during class, and like I'd be like, haha, like I can text and you guys can't, kind of feeling, you know. And then we had movies that we would watch in class that I really was not supposed to be watching, but I mean I was 18, so what can you do? So you watch the movies in class. But then we had Snapchat as well. So then we would like snap back and forth, like another time, like I said, super red flag now, but as a young woman, very, very young woman, I didn't quite realize the extent of everything. I think it was like 18, 19. And first time really being out of the house, going to college. It was really my first time being exposed to like the outside world. And I didn't realize how predatory everybody would be, because I'm thinking I'm just being me and I'm just gullible and I don't understand and I'm just being played, I guess, in a way. And so I was like, thought it was really weird. And then it started to get personal, and then I was like, we're sending selfies back and forth, and I'm like, okay. But then I don't know, he turned things like really almost like sexual. And I kind of like was thrown by it, and he sent me a video. I couldn't see it because it was dark, and then I replayed it and I realized what it was and I freaked out. And he said, oh, you watched it twice. And I was like, no, I didn't see it the first time, saw it the second time, and now I'm really scarred. And I felt very violated. I felt very dumb because I fell for that crap. I felt like he took advantage of me being naive, and also my my history of being, like I said, I was in foster care, I was adopted, so I had a lot of neglect in my life and a lot of rejection. And I feel like someone like that preys on, I guess, more like weaker kids. And like I was a teenager, like I was fresh out of high school, and looking back on it now, like it was so wrong. Like he was my college professor, and he took advantage of me. And it's like one of those things, it was just like, you know, took advantage of like me being flattered, took advantage of the rejection issues, took advantage of like my need for attention at the time. Like I used to love being the center of attention. Like I loved people like seeing me, and I loved being seen, and like in a way where I would just like dance in front of people, and I was just super outgoing. And I like YouTube, and I like being able to speak like this, have a platform and talking to people, and I don't mind that. I am a people person, but I do not want to be in front of a bunch of people on stage. I don't want that, you know. But I felt like he took advantage of me. And when I saw what he sent me, I blocked him. And I blocked him on everything. And I just felt so dumb because I would literally send him things that it wasn't me, like my person, but I would send him like Google photos because I didn't really know what he was asking of me. And it was just like, I don't understand that. And then I just kind of like knew that something wasn't right, but I also felt like I kind of was stuck, I guess, in a way, and didn't really know how to process that. So weird. I think like my need for attention like allowed me to just sit in that, I guess, and people please my way, kind of like, oh, that's crazy, like uncomfortable, but like complying. And but when he sent me that last video and I started to really see, I was like, wait a minute, this is going too far. And I told I guess by then I was dating my now husband, He sent me a photo and I blocked him on everything. I never spoke to him again. I just felt like, I don't know why it took that long for me to realize that that was his intention, was to like groom me into behaving a certain way, into responding to him, into, I don't know, as I think maybe it was because he was like like almost like a mentor. Like in college, he knew that I was young, and he knew I was new to college and new to I was homeschooled too, so I had like this naiveness, just being naive. And honestly, it makes me feel so stupid when I look back on it. Like, why did I fall for that? Like, if someone did it to me now, I'd be like, man, get the heck on, you know? But I'm 30 now, and I was 18 then. But I say this because as I've gotten older, I've like started to really realize that like people are super sick. And I just started to realize how many times men have tried to groom me, like approach me, disrespectfully, like, and I don't understand how I was so groomable, if that makes sense. I'm gullible, ooh, the thunder. So, but yeah, I was like thinking about it a lot, and I was like, you know what, like, I put that out there, like, especially with parents and stuff, like, please be watching your children, even as they're teens, letting them know what's out there. Especially coming from someone who was homeschooled, and I thought I felt really mature. I was really mature for my age and whatnot. I felt like, but some of those things I just didn't see. Like I saw everything with rose-colored glasses. I still am a bit of that positive outlook on life, and so I never saw things as they were. But like, please, be checking for your kids, even your teens, and then in college. You gotta watch out for that. But yeah, so just be careful. And my mom, I told my mom about this, and she ended up like reporting him, I think, to the college. Once she like found out, because I didn't tell her, like, I know this is my first time telling it to anybody but my mom and like my sister, my best friend. No one else knows this until now. But I'm just like, this is so insane. Like that someone like that would do that to a young girl and take advantage of her. Like, it's just crazy. But anyways, that's my story time. Literally insane. I still have one of his books downloaded. I think it's like on an old email. I still have one of his books, and I was trying to scan through it to see if it's the one that he wrote a book about me and used like very intimate details. And I was scanning it to see if that's the same one, and I don't know. I probably should finish it, but like he was so wrong for that. And it just, as a grown woman, and I think about it sometimes, and I'm just like, that is so embarrassing. But at the end of the day, like, he was wrong. He was the grown up. He was the adult in there. He was a professor. He was the college paid professor. I was a student coming straight out of high school. And so yeah, you gotta be careful, guys. You gotta watch out and be safe. But anyways, that's my story time of some things that I've been through. It's crazy, I know. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for our next story time, next video, next outing, next daily vlog. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Young and fine and dark and handsome, the boy from South.